Good morning. It is nearly 10:30. I've been trying to get everything ready, but today's been one of those mornings where everything has been taking longer than I expected. So I tried to make, I did make some almond banana bread. It is looking very good, but it took like an hour or so in the oven, and then as I was getting everything set up, it was just hard to film an entire video in between. But now it needs to rest for 20 minutes, and I think I can film a real quick video while it's resting, and then in the next part I guess I'll show you what it looks like. So far I have 2 parts planned for this series, but I think there will be more because there are lots and lots of stories with strong female characters. I absolutely love reading from a strong female character's point of view. Actually, when I was a little girl, I found it really hard to get into Harry Potter because I didn't understand reading from the perspective of a boy. And as silly as that sounds, I was just always trying to put myself in the main character's shoes, and I always wanted to be super badass. So yeah, these are a group of books, the stack, if I may, of books that all have strong female main characters. And the first part we're going to go through are just strong female main characters that have very little to absolutely no romance. I find that I love romance in books, but I also get tired of it. So we're going to start with amount of romance, and part 1 will be pretty much none. Part 2, I have some with a little bit of romance, that's YA, but let's start here. Oh, and I got a new chair. Oops. I got a new chair. It's so cute and comfy. I'm hoping that it'll work. I'm trying it out, obviously. And for reading, I have a little ottoman that came with it, so I can read and close the door. This is my stack. Doo-doo! My first female character, main character, I just adore, and I've actually read this book to my son, is Mona from A Wizard's Guide to Defensive Baking by T. Kingfisher. This is about a 14-year-old girl who has magic, and her magic only pertains to dough. And she finds herself in a situation where she may have to defend her entire little village or city, her little city. And the entire time she's like, I am a magicker, but it's dough. How can I create dough to protect the city? And I think she does it in a very creative way, and she's extremely courageous, and she also questions why a 14-year-old is responsible for saving the city. And I think that's a very interesting way to go about it. I can hear my dog barking, so give me 1 second. The next book is The Kingdom of Back by Marie Lu. The main character in this, her name is Nonorol, and she is the other Mozart. Also, can we just check out these silver what's the word? Edges. Okay, so this is a magical realism book based on not only the real historical figure of Nonorol Mozart, who is Wolfgang Mozart's sister. It is also based on this kingdom that they made up and would kind of play and talk about. And so Marie Lu took a lot of historical happenings and then also created this like almost portal fantasy world around it. And I think the amazing thing about this book that makes me really think about stuff is she was pretty much just as good of a pianist and composer as her brother, but because of the way history works, we don't remember her. And it makes me really sad, but it also makes me wonder just how many stories have been lost because we don't perceive women or girls as important as boys and men. The next book, I believe, would be The Bear and the Nightingale. I have not read the rest of the series, so there may be romance later on. I can kind of see it maybe starting in this one, but in the first book, there's barely any romance. There's a lot of familial love, like family, her brothers, but Vasya is a strong and fierce character. There are lots of like trying to arrange marriage in this, and she's running away from that. She's also trying to save her entire village. This is very much based in Russian folklore, and it is a perfect cold read. So whether it's summertime and you want to feel cold, or it's wintertime and you want to feel like winter vibes, this is perfect. Vasya is so fierce and she is beautiful in that way. Next, we have Kaikai by, The Bear and the Nightingale by Catherine Arden. I don't know if I said that. Then we have Kaikai by Vaishnavi Patel. And this story, although it's about a woman who ends up being in an arranged marriage and has a lot of fondness for her husband, I don't think there's any romance in this because she pretty much comes off as very asexual. She talks about not having feelings of lust or any of those kinds of feelings, and although they do end up having a child together, you can definitely tell that it's not romantic or the feelings of, you know.
So I'm actually going to pause myself right here and kind of just talk over myself because I'm obviously at a loss of words. Kaikai is about a woman who is a part of Hindu like mythology, and it's from a story that's called Ramayana, and initially I believe she is actually a villain in this story. And so we follow her and we get to see this author's retelling of this character and how life may have been for a woman in this world and in this kind of history.
I thought it was really interesting. I also am a huge sucker, a lurker in Goodreads comments, so there are arguments in there about how this is more of a westernized telling of the tale, and some people are disappointed in that, but I thought it was a great gateway to kind of learn more about different types of mythology, and I never knew anything about this story in general, and so I thought it was a really cool way to introduce myself into like a whole different culture and their stories. I also really enjoyed the magic in this. It's kind of like a thread and binding world, and she has the ability to persuade people based on how strong her connection is to somebody else. So that's super cool. Then we have The Queen of Blood by Sarah Beth Durst. Okay. I adored this book when I read it last year. I love this book so much. Actually, this is obviously a library copy from the shiny sleeve, but I want to find a copy of this book for myself. Delana is the main character. Yes, I had to look it up real quick. But I know I said I love this book, but I have a hard time with the rest of the series. The rest of the series follows different main characters, and I find Delana to be my absolute favorite character. I appreciate her fight. Like, I appreciate that she is not the chosen one because she's not the most powerful. There's magic in this world that's based on the kind of elemental things around you, and so there are like kind of like fae-like characters or creatures who can control different elements. So if they go out of whack, they can burn the entire city down. And they hate humans, and only women of this world, some of them have special powers to control these elemental fae creatures. And so we follow Delana, who is, like I said, she's not the most powerful. She's very weak in her power, but her will and her wit is so like great and awesome that I root for her so much. And this whole first book, I think, could probably stand by itself. Like, I would reread this first book by itself just for Delana. She ends up being, her character growth throughout the series is not as logical to me as I think in this book, but I can see where the author is coming from. But like I was saying, Delana is wonderful. I love following her. In this book, you almost follow her from childhood to adulthood. Oh yeah, and this book does have some casual sexy time in it, but it's off the page, like closed door. But she does engage in activities, and they talk about it very briefly. And there's like a romance with like side characters, but anyways. And this is the book I forgot about, and I feel so bad, but it's Screenshot. It's a very short book. It is a gothic horror book. It's about, her name is Maurice. She fights KKK demons. She's amazing. There is some spicy time in this book too, which is probably why I didn't think of it at first. It's a very short novella, so there's not really a chance for romance to blossom, but they do talk about it. So I'm gonna pop this in as an honorable mention. There's not really much romance because there's no time, but she's still kick-ass, so. And with that, I think I'm gonna go grab my banana bread now. Let me know if you've read any of these books, or if you have any interest in any of these books, or if you like thought about it but wasn't sure. Let me know in the comments, because I would love to convince everyone to read any of these books. I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and yeah, happy reading.